Hello, everyone. Thank you for being in today's webinar. My name is Dolores Mumelas. I'm senior librarian from the National and University Library in Zagreb, and I'm a member of Citizen Scince working group. Maria?
Good morning. Thank you for being here. My name is Maria Cassella. I work for the University of Turin. I'm library director. Our library is involved in one Citizen Scince project together with the University Library of Zagreb and with Dolores, of course, and other partners.
Okay, so if you're ready, we can start with today's webinar. I will share my screen. So we have joined forces and decided to create this webinar together to inform all interested participants about some aspects of citizen science in libraries, as well as citizen humanities in libraries. So let's get started. The simplest definition of citizen science is that it involves public participation in scientific research. In the literature, we can find several other synonyms of the term citizen science, such as participatory science, collaborative science, community science, crowd science, and so on. However, in the last 5 years, the term citizen science has been the most commonly used here in libraries. How can the public participate in scientific research? What can they do to get involved? The public can contribute by performing a variety of simple and more complex tasks, such as data entry, species identification, classification, entity searches, sample analysis, observation, data analysis, photography, and so on. The public involved in citizen science activities is often referred to in the literature as non-professionals, amateurs, or citizen scientists. In this webinar, I will use the term citizen scientist to refer to the public. In which scientific fields can the public participate in citizen science activities? They can contribute to all kinds of fields, such as ornithology, microbiology, climatology, ecology, astronomy, archaeology, and many others. There are two main types of participants in citizen science activities and projects. Those are citizen scientists and professionals or professional scientists. Libraries are ideal places to connect these two types of participants because they are closely tied to both their local community and the scientific community. Citizen scientists that libraries can engage may be current or future library users. As for the professionals, it is noted that it is not necessary to have a PhD in a specific field of science to be considered a professional. Libraries can collaborate with professionals, researchers, and scientists, but we should also keep in mind that librarians themselves can be considered professionals. We are professionals in information sciences, so we can sometimes take on the roles of both organizers and participants in citizen science activities. If you want to learn more about the topic of citizen science, especially citizen science in libraries, there are fortunately a great number of books you can read online for free. A very important book is The Science of Citizen Science, where you can find many topics related to citizen science. Additionally, Citizen Science Working Group has developed 3 guides. The first one is Citizen Science Skilling for Library Staff, Researchers, and the Public. The second is Library Infrastructures and Citizen Science. And the third is Open Science Meets Citizen Science. I recommend you take a look at these guides, which contain many examples, simple explanations, and interesting practices. Here is what you need to know about the theory of citizen science in libraries. Regarding the type of organization, libraries can act as the main organizers or collaborators in citizen science activities. Libraries can organize citizen science activities by themselves and also include external partners, but they can also contribute to already developed citizen science projects. As for the form of organization, citizen science can take physical form, for example, photography, virtual form, for example, wiki projects, or a combination of both. The latter is most common in libraries, For example, citizen scientists can collect species data in nature and enter the data into an online citizen science platform. As I mentioned earlier, citizen science activities require both citizen scientists and professionals or professional scientists. It's also important to note that citizen science activities are expected to have some scientific outcome. In terms of scale, libraries can organize citizen science activities at the local, national, or global level. The duration of the project depends on its scope and complexity. It can last a few days, weeks, months, or even years. As I've already mentioned, citizen science can cover all areas of science if we are creative and have a good project idea and strong project partners. Now, I would like to share an example from my own library, National and University Library in Zagreb. It is a citizen science activity named Dendroteca. We found inspiration for Dendroteca in an article about the Rijksmuseum Amsterdam Library, which had a citizen science project where citizen scientists and ornithologists tried to identify bird species in digitized collections. Our library also has a rich digital collection. We had previous experience participating in the national event called the Festival of Science. Last year, the main theme of the festival was nature and society. So we looked at our digital heritage and noticed that we have many old postcards, as you can see in the picture, more than 100 years old, of streets in Zagreb. On these postcards, there were many tree species. We included high school students from 2 Zagreb gymnasiums and dendrologists from the Faculty of Forestry and Woods Technology in Zagreb to identify the tree species on the postcards and compare them to the tree species present today on the same streets. The high school students were our citizen scientists. They visited the current locations of the old postcards and tried to recreate the photographs, as you can see in the photograph. They also used the free mobile application PlantNet to identify today's tree species on site. We collected the photographs and stored them on Google Drive. The citizen scientists then visited the faculty with us librarians, where the dendrologists educate them on how to identify tree species. After that, they tried to identify tree species with the help of the dendrologists. We discovered some interesting things, including the fact that 100 years ago, banana trees grew in the center of our capital city. This activity helped our library by enriching our catalog. We added notes about the identified tree species next to the cataloged postcards. We also created a website called Dendroteca. Here is a very short video of that website. I hope you can all see it. You can see the old postcards alongside the newly recreated photographs. On each photograph, you can find the names of the identified tree species. On the left, there is additional information about the tree species linked to our Croatian encyclopedia online. I apologize, but everything is in Croatian. This project received extensive media coverage. It was featured on the national television and in national newspapers, and it was really a great experience. We created it with zero budget, relying entirely on volunteerism and enthusiasm. So how can libraries help in the development and organization of citizen science activities and projects? Libraries can do simple things, such as providing their space for citizen science events. They can also offer their printed and digital collections, as you saw in the previous example. Librarians can educate participants, for example, by teaching them how to search databases or use digital tools. Libraries can also promote citizen science ideas and projects on their websites, social networks, and other platforms. More challenging but achievable tasks that libraries can undertake include designing a portal for citizen science. They can also develop new tools and applications that support citizen science, such as our Dendroteca. Additionally, we can use already developed tools, such as mobile applications, and join existing projects through online citizen science platforms, which my colleague Maria will mention later. Every citizen science activity is unique, and each of them requires a different set of skills. The same applies to citizen science activities held in libraries. However, we can say that some skills and competencies are needed across a variety of citizen science activities. These include project management and organization. Fortunately, as librarians, we often organize cultural events, exhibitions, and similar activities, so many of us already have experience in organization. There are also skills related to legal issues, ethics, copyright, and so on. It's beneficial to have skills in research data management to handle the data collected in citizen science activities. We need to know how to communicate effectively with participants and how to build relationships with them. We also have an advantage because of our strong IT and digital skills, which are essential since many citizen science activities take place in an online environment. Additionally, we possess information literacy, but it's important for us to also have scientific literacy for our activities. Finally, it is crucial to evaluate citizen science activities so we can understand what we have done well, what can be repeated, and what needs improvement, making evaluation skills necessary as well. Partnerships are a crucial part of citizen science activities. Well-conceived and organized collaboration can significantly facilitate the execution of citizen science projects. Libraries can collaborate with government and non-governmental organizations, local authorities, civic movements and initiatives, other libraries, and various cultural institutions. It is important to keep in mind that one type of library can partner with another type of library for mutual benefit. Research libraries are closer to their scientific community, while public libraries are closer to their local public. It is beneficial for these types of libraries to collaborate because it broadens the reach of participants and enhances project success. We discussed this topic in the study called Upscaling Collaboration between Academic and Public Libraries for CEOs in Southeastern Europe. So if you're interested in this topic, feel free to check it out. The advantages of partnerships include time savings, reaching a larger number of users, better promotion, strengthening professional connections, and more. Now I will tell you about another example of a citizen science activity organized by my library. In this activity, we used online resources. Here in Croatia, we have a portal for online academic and scientific journals that are freely accessible, and we utilized it for an activity called Bibliotherapy, Self-Help and Subjective Well-Being in Open Access in Croatia. This activity took place 2 years ago. In Croatia, we have an event called Croatian Book Month, and the main topic in 2022 was Think About Yourself, Read, focusing on mental health and well-being. We partnered with scientist Iva Žurić-Jakovina, an expert in self-help, and collaborated with the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences in Zagreb, specifically with librarianship students. We visited the faculty and conducted a workshop on the importance of self-help. Afterward, we taught students how to use the portal for online academic and scientific journals. They were tasked with collecting data about articles in free access that discuss bibliotherapy, self-help, and subjective well-being, following specific criteria. We compiled the data and wrote a scientific article based on our findings. The article was published 2 months ago in both Croatian and English, so feel free to read it if you're interested. This article was our scientific outcome. Maybe it seems like citizen science activities are easy to organize, but they require a lot of effort and can present potential organizational challenges. First of all, there is a lack of knowledge about citizen science. Additionally, as librarians, we have many ongoing tasks that needs to be completed, which means we often lack time. Many libraries are also under-resourced, so we face staff shortages. Moreover, it is common for libraries, especially here in Croatia, to have insufficient financial support for holding citizen science activities. Even if we have all the necessary resources, coming up with the right idea for a citizen science activity can still be challenging. However, these challenges can be addressed. To overcome the lack of knowledge about citizen science, We can educate ourselves through webinars like this, conferences, reading articles, and so on. For managing ongoing tasks, we can create a priority list to better manage our time. In terms of time constraints, from our own experience, we recommend linking citizen science activities with other events in your library or national events in your country. To address staff shortages, involving volunteers can be a solution. If finances are a problem, consider partnering with strong external partners or try to create citizen science activities that don't need any financial support. You can also find inspiration for citizen science activities on citizen science platforms such as SciStarter, EU Citizen Science, Zooniverse, iNaturalist, and others. We know that citizen science is beneficial for the community, but it can also be beneficial for libraries. There are several advantages of citizen science for libraries, such as recognition as partners in various fields of science, advocacy, teaching citizen science, developing partnerships, attracting new library users, media recognition, enriching existing library collections and developing new services, utilizing existing competencies of employees, and personal and professional development of employees. Libraries are certainly essential partners in the integrity and success of citizen science projects, but is it obvious to everyone? Colleagues from the Liber Citizen Science Working Group and I have created a poster with arguments you can use to convince project leaders, university managers, future partners, or even superiors of the importance of libraries in citizen science projects. These 5 arguments relate to citizen science and open science, citizen science and the dissemination of knowledge, citizen science and the integrity of science, citizen science and valorization, and citizen science and library collections. You can check these arguments on Zenodo. The poster has been translated into several languages of the European Union. Okay, after we convince our superiors that it is beneficial for our library to be involved in citizen science activities and projects, we need to know how to attract citizen scientists. The theme of our citizen science activity needs to be interesting and connected to some kind of research. It should also be clear, and sometimes we need to develop instructions for citizen scientists on how to, for example, collect data, enter data, and so on. Effective marketing is essential to attract participants with catchy headlines and engaging content. We can use online platforms or mobile applications to reach even more people. Additionally, hosting trial sessions where potential citizen scientists can experience a glimpse of the future project can help capture their interest and attention. And to conclude my part of this webinar, here are some tips on how to start your own citizen science project in your library. The first tip is to start with yourself in your own library. As librarians, we can act as professionals in information science and develop citizen science activities around our own collections. We can recruit scientists through our personal connections. Even if we don't know a scientist needed for a specific citizen science activity, we often know someone who knows someone else. Perhaps the scientist is our neighbor, our aunt, a friend's spouse, and so on. For recruiting citizen scientists, I suggest targeting specific groups, such as particular classes in university or high school, specific associations, clubs, and groups of people involved in relevant topics. It's also crucial to consider their interests and needs. We also need to think about what the potential scientific outcomes could be. This might include a scientific poster, article, data publication in open access for future research, and so on. Collaborating with partners who have a shared interest or engaged in the scientific field, specific scientific field of the project can be very beneficial. Regarding finances, it is always a sensitive topic in libraries. I suggest using free web tools, applying for funding through calls from the Ministry of Culture and Media, if your country has such ministries and programs, or organizing activities that do not require financial support. Promote your activity through local and national media, your library's social media, and website. Creating eye-catching posters and other materials can also help. Finally, it is important to educate your participants and provide support in terms of information literacy. Use simple vocabulary and create clear instructions. And of course, you need to have a lot of enthusiasm. So that is all for me. And now I am available for questions.
Dolores, we had a question in the chat.
Okay.
And this question was about impact for librarians in taking part in citizen science activities. I will, the question was, I would like to hear from the speaker, what is the impact to librarians after get involved in citizen science?
Okay, so we can try to answer both if you want, Maria. What is the impact to librarians? So as for my own personal experience, I can say that I gained new competencies and new skills, new partnerships. If there wasn't CFC project, I would never talk to Maria or held a webinar to Maria. It can also help with promotion of our library, of our library collections, and so on. I can see other questions for skills and competencies for libraries.
Yeah, I answered that. The second one.
Okay, you answered that. I can also tell that this month, me and colleague from my library, we are working on a study named Skills and Competencies for Librarians in Citizen Science Activities. It will be a national study, and we hope that it will be published next year. So I hope that we can all learn something new from this study. I don't know the answers yet, but for about 4 months, it will be all published, I hope. Okay. Does anyone have any more questions?
No.
If not, I suggest Maria to share her screen and start her presentation.
Okay. So my presentation, this is the second part of our webinar, is about, is about Citizen Humanities, which is a particular branch, let's say, from Citizen Science, and it's about the involvement of citizens in the activities of a cultural heritage institution and academic research. As Dolores said, this ebook, The Science of Citizen Science, which was published by Springer in 2021, is an open access book. In this book, you can find a chapter on Citizen Humanities. It's really about digital humanities project involving citizens. Of course, as for the citizen science in Citizen Humanities, we can identify 4 levels of involvement, of the citizens' involvement. And first of all, we have participants can, the basic level is that participants can contribute with data. Gathering data, so to projects. And the second level is that participants contribute with data, but also give input to researchers to foster project, Citizens Humanities project. And the third level is about co-creation. Co-creation is a very important word in collaborative and citizen science project, because more and more projects now are being developed in collaboration with citizens. So co-creation projects are projects which involve in most steps of research citizens, participants. And last not least, is hosting. In this sense, institutions are not very much involved in this project, but they host Citizens Humanities projects. As Dolores also said, she spoke a little bit about this platform. One of the most important citizen science platform is the EU Citizen.Science, which was developed in under and funded under the Horizon 2020 European program. And this is an online platform for sharing knowledge, tools, training, and resources for citizen science, and also gathering communities. Actually, it is maintained by the European Citizen Science Association. In this platform, I use, this is a screenshot in Italian, this screenshot, okay? But you have in English, in many languages, of course. You also can find many numerous digital humanities projects. As you can see, you can search for disciplines, and you can search, for example, in archaeology and cultural project, or in geography project, or in social sciences project. In which way libraries support digital humanities and citizen humanities? But first of all, we as a librarian, as library support these kind of projects thanks to our collections. Each library has got important historical collection, and this collection are really the raw data of citizens' humanities, digital collection. Then we have an infrastructure, we have repository, we manage a repository, and this is an important infrastructure to manage citizen humanities projects. Then we have competencies. Dolores spoke about competencies, and there was also a question in the chat about this. And above all, I believe libraries engage and connect people. And this is probably the most important difference between libraries and department, because we are a hub for communities, we involve people, participants, and we can help researchers in gathering participants for citizen science and citizen humanities projects. Of course, you all know what crowdsourcing is. I chose a definition from this Crowdsourcing Citizen Science Act of the United States Congress. Basically, in digital humanities, it's about transcription, it's about metadata enrichment, tagging, and storytelling. One of the very first citizen humanities project was this Transcribe Inventum, which was developed launched by the UCL College, UCL University College London. And the aim was to engage the public in the online transcription of the original manuscript of the philosopher Jeremy Bentham. And up to date, if you go on a homepage of this project, you can see that more than 45,000 pages were transcribed by volunteers. And all transcriptions are available in UCL repository. This is the homepage of the project, Transcribe Inventum, on the UCL website, of course. And this is the transcription desk. You can register and you can transcribe. Of course, you should be probably English, native English speaker, but anyway, you can transcribe the notebooks and the letters from this philosopher. And then you see they have also a leaderboard where that shows the activity of the most enthusiastic transcribers. Okay, the role of the library was mainly helping researchers gathering volunteers and training volunteers in using this platform, this transcription desk. Also controlling, they have a role also in controlling the quality of transcriptions. And then, of course, preservation. The UCL library has got a role in preservation of materials of the project. A very similar project is the Daily Notebooks project, which another developed in England as well by the British Library. And this project is hosted on Zooniverse. And Zooniverse is the most famous citizen science platform where you can find also a project in Citizen Humanities. And you can register and develop your own project in this platform. So it's very useful. If you don't have the opportunity, if you don't have an infrastructure, you can register and can use Zooniverse as your own infrastructure. LibreCrowds is the platform used by the British Library to develop the crowdsourcing project about a diverse collection of the British Library, of course. One of the very most important and well-known project is the Living Machine, developed by the British Library, together with other universities in England, University of Cambridge, Turin Institute, etc. And this project focuses on the 19th century, from the 18th and 19th centuries, about digitized historical collection, and to gather massive together words and concept about 5 different labs from digitized historical collection of the 19th century. Basically, it is about the Industrial Revolution, to gather concept about the Industrial Revolution. And this project has been developed with the help of citizens. An important European platform for all crowdsourcing Citizen Humanities project is Europeana Transcribe, which was developed to enhance a collection published in Europeana. As you can see, this is the main referring point for all crowdsourced digital collection for libraries taking part in Europeana. Another interesting tool to transcribe a collection in a collaborative way is Transcribers. Transcribers is software, which is a platform which was developed by a European project, and it helps people to transcribe text, of course, but you can also use the artificial intelligence. It's a way to collaborate, because it can be done by people, by persons, but it can also use the artificial intelligence to help transcription. Mainly archival documents, which are very difficult to transcribe, or manuscripts, for example. And this Transcribers software, we use it at the University of Turin. We are a member now of this cooperative project. Okay. Of course, it is a big ecosystem. You can take part as a university or as a library in it, and you can use it. However, you can use it freely, but if you're part of this cooperative project, you have some functionality. You can use more advanced functionalities. This is another example of transcribed crowdsourced collection. Is from the Biblioteca de Catalunya, the Catalonian library. Is about these letters and from Joan Maragall, and is hosted on the website of the Biblioteca de Catalunya in Spain. And the Zurich University Library has got also many crowdsourced humanities collection projects. You see this the homepage of the Citizen Scince webpage of the Zurich University Library. And if you go there, you see many examples of different projects developed in collaboration with participants, citizens, students. And this is a portal, it's a French portal about citizen science, but it focuses on cultural heritage. So this is a portal developed by the French the Ministry of French Education, and it is devoted to cultural heritage project, Citizen Science project. Now, mainly 8 steps to try to involve your library in citizen science and citizens humanities project. First of all, as also Dolores said, it is also always strategical to it is always strategic to build partnership, because partnership are really either internal partnership with your researchers, for example, if you are a university research library, or external partners such as other libraries, public civic libraries, national libraries, and so on. And then if it is very difficult to manage a citizen humanities project by your own. So you need to create, probably it is better to create a working group in your library and to share what you're doing with your colleague and to try to involve your colleague in supporting citizen science and citizen humanities projects. Of course, if you don't have idea, you might, if you start from the beginning, it is very it's a good idea to try to understand what kind of citizen science and citizen humanities project already exist in your area, at local level. And then you have to contact the manager of this citizen science project. You try to define a role and to tell them, look, our library can have a role because we are a hub for communities, and we can have a role in gathering people, for example, in advocacy and supporting, preserving material, educating, and so on. Try to involve staff, upskill your staff. It's very important. And as I said, also answering the colleague, soft skills, according to me, are very important, because it is, it's about people. So it's about connecting people. And so you have to develop your soft skills. Okay, and when you think about digital humanities, of course, you have to think of a very special collection to enhance and foster. And the best is about unpublished collection, unpublished documents, because they need really to be the help from participants, the help from volunteers to be transcribed, for example. You have to, again, choose your audience, try to choose a target for this collection, expand contacts and partnership, develop relationship with schools in citizen humanities. Generally speaking, many citizen science projects, school students, teachers are really good partners for this kind of projects. And of course, you have to have an infrastructure. You can build your infrastructure if you have a possibility, or you can host. You can be hosted on another infrastructure, for example, Zooniverse. Okay, there are some challenges, of course, in all Citizen Science and Citizen Humanities project. And according to me, the first challenge is that when you speak to citizen scientists and you for example, you present a crowdsourced project in collection, they tell you this is not citizen science. So the great challenge is to tell people, is to tell humanists, look, this is a project. This is a project, and this is a citizen humanities project. We need your support. But it is true that we should also be conscious of the fact that some of these projects might not be citizen science project, might also be crowdsourced collection project. The difference is very blurred. It's not so easy to tell what it is and what it is not. But in any case, we should be conscious of the fact that more and more crowdsourced digital collection projects are being defined citizen humanities projects. Then another problem is about legal issues. How can you recognize the contribution of citizens in citizen humanities projects? This is a problem which is common to, I should say, all citizen humanities projects. There should be a way to give participants and volunteers recognition. And then, of course, another common challenge is how we gather volunteers. Of course, libraries can help in gathering volunteers. As we said, might have a very important role, but it is not easy. Even for us, we are university and research libraries, and it is very difficult to gather students, university students. We try to do that. But it's not that easy. So in our case, for example, we try to find a link with researchers, and this way we try to reach out to many to students. Otherwise, in any case, it's a challenge. This is a challenge to be considered. So this is the end of my presentation. If you do have any questions for me and for Dolores, we are here. Thank you. No question?
Okay. If there are no questions, I think there is yes, Farah, you can. Okay.
Go ahead. This is an issue, really. Okay. As far as is my experience, I proposed to our top management. I proposed a project which had some funds for my staff. So it was a financed project. So this is a way. Otherwise, we also have support from some internship, for example. We use students, university students, and some internship in order to help us supporting our projects and ideas. but it is an issue, really. Dolores, I
Yeah,
don't
in my library, we had 5 citizen science activities. One of those became a national project. And all of these 5 activities didn't need any finance. And it was really great because our superiors then told us, okay, you do not have any finances. Okay, you have a plan, so you can do it. So that is how it works here in our library. But you need to be very strategic. You need to think about all outcomes, all partners, scientific outcomes, all people in library who can be involved. You need to be enthusiastic and talk about the project everywhere. So yeah, there are ways. Thank you, Farah. Also, I have to say that this webinar is being recorded, so you can always check the webinar on Libr's web pages and Liber YouTube. And if this is all, I think that we can finish. And I hope that you learned something new. And thank you, Maria, for also your great talk.
Thank you to you for your invitation. Thank you for your attention, and a very special hello to Alisa.
Thank you. Ciao. Bye.
Bye bye.